Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Thunder Alley here. It's currently 3:08 a.m. and I'm just having trouble sleeping thinking about this Chargers Chiefs game. I just went and watched the Falcons Chiefs so that way I have an understanding of how the Chiefs are going to play, so that way I can preview this game for you guys. I will say right off the rip, this is not the same Chiefs team that we're used to. They have not gotten off to their best start. I understand they're 3-0, don't get me wrong, yes they have not lost a game, but the Chiefs are definitely beatable. If you look at all three games that they played, I mean, they've been super duper close. This Falcons game, they had to get a stop on 4th and 1 down in the red zone. Against the Bengals, it was a 4th and 16, and a penalty ended up getting them in a field goal range. And then week 1 against Baltimore, literally Isaiah Likely was this close, you guys can't see me, but this close to being in bounds, and the Ravens would have either been able to tie the game or go for it. Simple mistakes have cost teams games against the Chiefs, and it was the same way in the playoffs. You look at the Bills, they miss a field goal that ties the game. You look at the Ravens, they turn it over in the red zone. Zay Flowers fumbles, Lamar Jackson throws in a triple coverage. I think the Chargers can beat the Chiefs. I do think it's going to be close, and if they can execute and not make those mistakes that these other teams are making, they'll win. Now, my only concern is Justin Herbert's mobility. He is doing a lot better than he was last week, according to head coach Jim Harbaugh, of course, but he's still dealing with a high ankle sprain. Herbert's not going to have a lot of mobility in this game, and on top of that, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, the team's 2 starting tackles, are unlikely to play. I'll keep you guys updated. You might be watching this, and they might play. One of them might play, right? I don't know. It's 3:08 a.m. on the morning of Friday, so things are going to change. I'll be posting just about daily for you guys, so a lot is going to happen quickly. But the bottom line is that those are very, very high-level football players, and they're a large reason why the Chargers were one of the more dominant teams, of course, heading into Week 3 before they lost to the Steelers. So that's not ideal. Derwin James is out. Herbert's banged up, but you have to think positively. The Chargers, they're going to have a great chance to beat the Chiefs because of their defense. Joey Bosa should be good to go in this one. Khalil Mack on the other side. The way the linebackers have played, the secondary's been stout in coverage. The defense was amazing against the Steelers up until the second half, but I'm not even really blaming the defense just because Taylor Heinicke comes in, gets sacked 3 times, only completes 2 passes. Time of possession was in large favor of the Steelers. And the Chargers defense actually beat themselves. I mean, we're looking at a roughing the passer by Mack. We're looking at an unnecessary roughness by Derwin James. It might have been a face mask. I don't remember, to be honest with you. But it was a penalty that gave the Steelers life, and they ended up capitalizing off of it. So again, just beating yourself, right? That's the thing with the Chargers. They can't do that against the Chiefs, because if they want to win this game, they're going to have to play not a perfect game. I don't believe there's much such a thing as a perfect game in sports, but they're going to have to play a clean game, no turnovers, keep the penalties down, and they're going to have a great chance. So we'll start off with the Chargers because this is a Chargers channel, and obviously I'm rooting for the Chargers to win this game. So if we look at where the Chargers rank, what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses? So their weakness is their passing offense. Now, obviously, context, the Chargers did not have to run the ball in the first 2 weeks, and then the third week against the Steelers, Justin Herbert was basically on 1 foot, so they weren't able to throw a lot. So, yeah, it's a weakness, but and when I see the Chargers be forced to throw and they can't, then okay, but until then, I'm not really calling that a weakness. But obviously, the Chargers' strength this season has been running the ball, and I think that's going to continue the entire season because of their O-line, and they just want to be as run-heavy as possible. That's how Jim Harbaugh was at Michigan, so I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, there will be a game this season where the Chargers are going to be down 10, and they're going to have to air it out, and hopefully that's not anytime soon, but scoring 17, not a weakness. Rushing offense, they're 7th, so that's a strength. Total offense, 25th. That's just because the passing's so down. Third down conversion is pretty mid. Red zone scoring is not exactly the best, 42.86%. Round that up to 43. Sacks allowed, 7. I mean, they gave up 3 to Taylor Heinicke, so that definitely doesn't make it look that good. And then just 2 turnovers, which is 7, so very good. So I would say the only weakness on the offense of the Chargers is their passing offense, but that's just because they haven't had an opportunity to do so, right? Because it was 10-10 going into the fourth quarter of the Steelers game. So yeah, I don't really think offensively there's much of a weak. The only weakness would be 2 tackles probably not playing in this game and Justin Herbert's lack of mobility, but again, that's just an injury. That's a durability thing. So And Herbert's been extremely durable. He only missed 4 games. The 4 games he missed in his career were last season. So let me know if I'm wrong. But like Herbert's been very, very durable. In terms of the defense, this is the strength of the Chargers. There's just no weakness on it, if we're being honest. They've only given up 11 points per game, which is 3rd. Passing defense is 10th in football. Rushing defense is 6th in football. I mean, the Steelers couldn't even run the ball on the Chargers. Total defense is 6th. 3rd down conversions is 12th. Red zone is 2nd. Sacks, they have 8, which is 16th. So this is going to be a very, very difficult challenge for the Chiefs to be able to move the ball on the Chargers because they struggled to do it against the Falcons. They did have their moments, but overall, the Chiefs' offense just didn't impress me. I'll go ahead and we'll look at the box score. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has not been the Patrick Mahomes we're used to. I mean, the guy threw for 217, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Could have had a couple of more picks. I mean, Mahomes on the season has 4 picks, 5 touchdowns. He's 13th in yards, and he's 21st in QBR. Why is Mahomes struggling? It's a good question. He's just been missing throws, and it's just very uncharacteristic for Mahomes, to be honest with you. But if you just watch the games, he's just missing open receivers at times, and there's still a lot of good, right? Mahomes, when he gets out of the pocket and on the run, he's accurate. He still makes plays. He can obviously run the ball too. Mahomes against the Falcons had 17 rushing yards, which doesn't seem like much, but you look at a couple of those runs, they picked up first downs and they kept the chains moving and things like that. So the Chargers have to contain Patrick Mahomes, but that's a last resort. Mahomes is always going to look to throw the ball down the field, and if there's nothing else, then he'll step up. So a lot of that is just, of course, making tackles and trying to get the Chiefs in a 3rd and long, because the Chiefs just, I mean, they did have 128 rushing yards against the Falcons. Carson Seal, undrafted rookie, 17 of 72. P. Ryan, 6 of 25. I think just a lot of that is going to be understanding that you're putting a guy in motion like Xavier Worthy or Rashee Rice. They're both amazing after, well, it's not after the catch, but they're both amazing with their speed and athleticism and their quickness. And then you run a guy to the motion, and then of course you snap the ball to your running back because everyone's just focused on the motion. So Andy Reid, he was creative against the Falcons, and he just had different guys moving, and that's something that the Chargers are going to have to be ready for. But again, the linebackers have been fantastic for the Chargers. They've been very physical, and the front, especially the interior. We know what the edges bring with Bosa and Mack, but the interior of the Chargers defense is going to have to step up like it's been doing all season. So I'm not too worried. A lot of that is just coaching, film, discipline. Jim Harbaugh will have this team ready to go. I mean, Raheem Morris, very good defensive mind, but again, Jim Harbaugh is one of the best coaches we've ever seen. I mean, he's just won at every single level, right? College, NFL. So that's that. In terms of the Chiefs rankings, to quickly go through that, you look at what they're doing on offense. They're 25th and they're 6th in points. 25th in points would be amazing. They're 6th in points. Their yards, they're 14th. Let's see, 3rd down conversion, 21. 4th down conversion, they've converted every 4th down, number 1. A lot of that is just 4th and short. I mean, Andy Reid, it's just like Patrick Mahomes, a threat of him, but it's also just the offensive line's good in the interior, and then Andy Reid is just so brilliant. If it's a 4th and inches, a 4th and 1, a 4th and 2, 4th and 3 even, I mean, Chiefs are pretty much getting that every single time. That's why you never want to give Patrick Mahomes 4 downs. I still am dumbfounded that the 49ers wanted the ball first, but that's besides the point. I digress. Defensively, not amazing. You would think the Chiefs defense would be better, but in terms of points, they're 15th. In terms of yards, they're 26. But they have done a great job against the run, stopping the run defensively. So the Chargers, one of the best run offenses in football. The Chiefs, one of the best run defenses in the game. So this is going to be just a clash of who's more physical, who wants it more. Justin Herbert doesn't need to be fully healthy to be able to be amazing in this game because it's Justin Herbert. But him just being out there, you know he's got a big arm. You know his size and his strength and just his leadership. I think the Chargers honestly win this game. I mean, it just sounds ridiculous without your 2 tackles, without Derwin, but I think the Chargers find a way to win this game. I have full faith in them, and I don't know, maybe it's just 3 a.m. and it's talking to me, but I just think people are sleeping on the Chargers. And against the Steelers, a 3-0 team, historically good defense, you're on the road, 10-10 going into the 4th, with all the injuries, with Herbert on 1 foot. I mean, Herbert's doing better than he was in that game, and I just feel very encouraged, man. I feel very encouraged. But again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the offensive line's terrible in this game, but we'll see, guys.